Hello there, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is ChitChad and welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster where we are working on the Super Mario theme park. Really excited today. Today's episode is going to be a fun one. We are working on the Crazy Cap store a little bit in the beginning of this episode, and then we will move on to the Wario Waluigi themed arcade where we'll be making a couple things. We'll make some custom signage. We're going to make kind of a ticket reloading area, and we are also going to make a Wario statue. So lots going on in today's episode, lots of fun. First, we are working on a Crazy Cap logo, utilizing screenshots from Mario Odyssey to isolate the logo because I couldn't actually find the logo in a high res just by itself. So I was like, all right, well, if I can't find it, I will make it. So I was able to get a decent enough screenshot from the game to isolate the logo and essentially run it through a couple of filters inside of Photoshop and then repaint what information was lost during that process. Now, if I really wanted to, I could have taken this into Illustrator and done a live trace to really get some clean line work, or just vectorized it, but I didn't want to spend too much time on recreating, or I guess not even recreating, because a lot of it's still the original logo from the screenshot, but I definitely had to go in and paint it up a little bit. I didn't want to spend too much time going crazy with this logo, just because it is only going to be utilized for a screen in Planet Coaster, which crunches down the visual information anyways, because it's a compressed JPEG. So just enough to where it'll look nice on a sign. So you'll see I'm doing a little bit of that posterization effect. And then I found some really nice screenshots from Mario Odyssey that I could use as a background, seeing as the Crazy Cap store is in all the kingdoms in the game, at least as far as I remember, because even the ones that don't have a Crazy Cap store, I think by the time you beat the main campaign and go back, there's the little pop-up Toad shops that has the Crazy Cap in them. So I think they're in every kingdom, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, they're in all the major kingdoms regardless, so just enough to be able to put them on some screens and throw it inside of the store. I just thought that would be a lot of fun. And we're also going to go back into the store and add some hats, just because the interior of the Crazy Cap store just felt a little bit vacant. So I just thought it would be fun to add a few screens and hats to it just to give it a little bit more life. So now we're jumping back into Planet Coaster and doing just that. We're going to be removing the previous signs that were the Hat Fantastic signs in place. We're going to put these new screens with the Crazy Cap logo. And I gotta say, I love the design that they came up with for this logo. And I just love Mario Odyssey in general. It's such a great game. The artwork is fantastic. It has so much charm. If I really had to just boil it down to one word, charm. The game is charming, absolutely charming. If you haven't seen, my good friend Jacob has come over a couple of times and we've recorded some Let's Play content. We have been playing Mario Odyssey as well as Sonic Forces, and I need to get Jacob back here so we can record some more Mario Odyssey. I've been playing the game on my own since then because I have a Switch, and it's been a lot of fun. I've put in probably too many hours into playing Mario Odyssey, but I've enjoyed every moment of it. So I think it would also be really fun to theme another store inside of the park to be a Hats Crazy Cap. Just because, like I said, like we talked about, they're in every kingdom, so it might be fun to have at least one other hat store that's kind of like a different. It's not the Odyssey ship, but it's another type of store. And I don't want to use the same Toad stands that I've used before, just because those are already in the park enough. But we'll think of something. So, like I said, we were gonna do some custom signage for the Wario Waluigi arcade casino thing, and I thought it'd be really fun to make some wanted posters utilizing the art and animation that I made over on my animation channel, which if you are interested in that, I do have links to my other channel in the links in the description down below. Also, I do link my main channel at the end of each video, and the Waluigi animation should be going up sometime this week. Of course, the animation's already done. I just have to edit the remainder of the video, which is pretty close to being done, so look forward to that. sometime this week. So yeah, I just wanted to make these wanted posters. I just thought they were really fun because I feel like Wario and Waluigi would kind of use this as like a reputation thing. Like, look at this, they got my nose right. That's a Tangled reference. I did have a couple people comment like, why is Waluigi second? I'm like, I hear y'all. I hear ya. Waluigi's pretty freaking great. I actually really love his design in that new, what is it, Mario Aces tennis game. Like, he's so extra, but in the best way possible. Like, Waluigi just looks amazing in that game. But yeah, so that animation will be going up soon, and then of course the 3D coin animation, and I'll probably make a little mini announcement, whatever videos coming out that day, just so you all know that those videos have gone live. So there is, it's kind of funny because I've always been really, I guess when I was a kid, I was always really entertained by like Westerns and just the thought of a Western. And I think a lot of that's due to the fact that we have a train park here in Arizona. And I think it's called the McCormick Train Park. And it's really cool because I remember being a kid, of course there's trains, which I was obsessed with trains as a kid. Thomas the Tank Engine was like one of my favorite things ever as a very young child. But like the McCormick Train Park was really cool that they had like multiple scale trains. Like they had the miniature ones, but then they had like, I don't know what scale it's referred to as, but it's like still small, but it's still powerful enough that like people can sit on these little train cars, and it's enough to like take them around the park, which is really fun. And there's this little western town that I would always go over to, and like a bunch of us had like those cap guns, the ones that just had like the strip that had the little black dots on them, which had the powder, so when the hammer of the gun would hit it, it would like make a little pop. They don't sell these things anymore because, you know, they looked too similar to actual guns, and I totally get that, but they were fun. Like they were little caps, and I remember being a very dumb kid at one point because I had one of the guns and it got jammed, and I remember looking in the chamber of it, and then right as I went to look at it, it unjammed. I wasn't even touching anything other than holding the gun itself. It unjammed and then popped right into my eye. That's how you get an eye taken out. And yeah, my vision was slightly obscure in one eye for the remainder of the week, so I stopped playing with cap guns. Let that be a lesson. Those things are dangerous. Anyway, so we are now working on a kind of like a booth, like a ticket vending booth where I'm going back and forth like whether or not I want to add like prizes in this arcade, or if it's legit just like an arcade where you play games, because other than the claw machine, which literally just gives you the prize because that's the game, I don't think any of the games that are going to be in this arcade are going to be like prize winning games. Like we're going to have Luigi's Mansion, obviously. Well, we have Luigi's Mansion, sorry. We are going to have, hopefully, if I can figure out how to do it right, the Mario Kart arcade game. And I think I saw some comments in regards to like making like a Smash Brothers thing, which yeah, totally. I want to figure out a way to like make all that work and look really cool. I don't want to spend too much more time on this arcade because I feel like I've sunk so many hours into just this project alone with like the arcade itself and all the animations. And I've also been getting comments like, when am I going to jump back to Luigi's Mansion? Well, guess what? Actually, I think in the next episode. In the next episode of the series, I'm jumping back into Luigi's Mansion, and we're going to be setting up some animated screens, which of course I'm going to be doing animations for. And it's I'm real excited. I think it's going to be really cool, and it's more animation, which I'm always excited for. So yeah, the next episode is going to be a lot of fun, and jumping back into Luigi's Mansion was really nice after a while. Like I said, I just needed a little bit of a break from it because I was starting to get a little fried, but after seeing what I'm assuming is a sort of announcement for the next Luigi's Mansion game, where like Luigi died? Question mark? I think he's not dead. I think he's just gonna get some super cool. Well, he technically is dead, but he's gonna have ghost powers or something. Maybe Luigi can like slip between worlds or something, you know? Like maybe he can go back and forth. Like it's the whole idea of like I don't know, the Legend of Zelda game where you could jump into the walls and then you were like a flat, like drawn version of Link, or even like in Mario Odyssey, they had a very similar concept where you went inside the old school warp pipes and suddenly it was a 2D game. So maybe like that'll be Luigi's transformation thing. It's like Luigi goes from Luigi to dead Luigi. Like, it's a heck of a transformation. Like, if he can go back and forth from this life and the ghost life, like, that's a pretty dope superpower, Luigi. You got yourself quite the upgrade there. It's perfect for someone who's a bit of a coward, and if you die, it's okay. You would just come back. Like, this is great, Luigi. Hats off to you, bro. So here's the part in the video where I had to like zone out and listen to some awesome music as I started working on the statue for Wario. Oh boy, y'all, like I do enjoy making these statues, don't get me wrong, but they give me a headache every once in a while when I'm trying to figure out how the heck to make this work without it making it look totally like a balloon animal. Because I feel like that's the easiest thing to have happen to these statues. I'm literally like rubbing my eyes just out of pure frustration. Like, oh, you have no idea how many iterations of this that I had to go through. He looks terrifying. He looks like the most possessed Mr. Potato Head right now. Like, he is the factory reject Potato Head. He also looks like Dr. Robotnik shaved his mustache and realized what a horrible mistake he has made. But trust me, this gets better. This gets better towards the end. It starts looking like something, like a real scary Bob the Builder going on right now. Oh man, it looks so funny, but like when you're building it, you're just thinking about it in pieces, you know? I'm like, all right, first we gotta shape the face, and we gotta put the nose in, then we gotta get the hat right, and then yeah, it's building blocks. You build on top of each other. First we gotta get the rough done, and then we'll get better through time. But yeah, this one took me a little bit, just because the scale couldn't go crazy. Like some of the statues, I don't care how like large they end up being, as long as they're not, you know, ridiculously huge. But this one I had to keep pretty small just because it had to fit inside the arcade, and even when it's done, it's like it's pretty close to the ceiling, and could be a fire code violation if this was in the real world, but it's Planet Coaster, don't tell anybody. But I really like how this one turned out. I still think Kamek's probably the best one I've done thus far. I really like the expression that I was able to get on Luigi, but this one's pretty high up there on like the statues that have turned out pretty dang all right. I hope you all enjoy like the final view of this one, because it was a fun one to make, and I have to keep making statues, man. This whole stinking park's gonna have nothing but statues by the time we're done. It's gonna be all statues and animated screens. Not too much of one, not too much of the other, because it's gotta have a balance in life. You hearing me, Universal Studios? I'm putting you on blast. Stop relying on screens. If you all don't know, like Universal is pretty notorious on using nothing but screens for most of their attractions. I think the the newest King Kong ride over in Florida has more animatronics in its queue than it does in the actual ride. Like the ride is just like moving from one screen to the other. Ooh, how crazy. I'm being mean, but like those rides obviously take like an extraordinary amount of work, and like the work from many people just to make any of that possible. Like I can't even fathom the amount of creativity you have to in order just to make any of that work. But I'm all for animatronics. Like I'll take an animatronic over a screen any day. And I'm so excited to see the company that's working on the new Jurassic Park, I guess it's gonna be called Jurassic World ride over in California. The company that's doing the new animatronics, I've seen some of their work because they did a Jurassic Park walkthrough experience in Australia, I think. And I believe I talked about this on the last episode, but I keep seeing videos of like their work and how they made the Indominus Rex. I'm like, whoa, that's gonna be stinking cool. I can't wait for that. Actually has me really excited. I want to be able to ride that ride one more time before it closes, though. I don't think that's gonna happen, so we'll just have to check it out once it's brand stinking new. It needed it, though. I've said this on multiple episodes, but dang, did that thing need it. It was starting to look a little rough around the edges, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'll always take unless it's a ride like, I don't know, the Amazing Spider-Man ride is nothing but screens, and besides the set pieces, but it totally works because it's an animated Spider-Man. It's set in an animated universe, so of course you're gonna have the screens, and it looks good. Same with Transformers. the giant screen that they have with Optimus Prime when he comes down and like talks to you, and you're just like, the speakers are so booming, you feel like his voice is shaking the car that you are in, and you're just like, wow, are you ready to have your faces melted as we rock? He's like, yeah, Optimus Prime, I'm ready to rock and or roll. And I don't mean that in a cheesy way. I mean, let's transform and roll out. Yeah, so that ride, I think that ride is actually my favorite part of the Transformers franchise right now. I'm a fan of the old school stuff, and Transformers Prime, the animated series, is probably the most recent incarnation of the franchise that I really enjoyed. But speaking of which, I actually did I'm playing a character. A group of people are bringing back a Transformers. It's a Transformers fan project, and they're doing a kind of like a sequel to Transformers Prime. And I actually got to play the voice of Wheeljack, which I'm really excited for because I love Transformers, and I can't wait to see how that project turns out. I will definitely let you all know once it goes live, because I haven't seen anything other than test renders from it yet, but when it does, I will let you know. And like, while we're talking about Transformers, that Bumblebee movie looks pretty stinking good. Like, I think it's the same, if I read it correctly, the director of the Bumblebee movie is the same guy who's been doing a bunch of the stop motion pieces or pictures or movies. Good Lord, it's late again. My brain is frizzled and fried. But this guy, I believe, was the director of Kubo and the Two Strings and Paranorman, and I believe Coraline as well. So if anything, this director knows how to handle animated characters and give them life and personality, which is gonna be great. Bumblebee's not my favorite Transformer by far, but this take on him is really stinking cool just from the trailer alone. So I love my leaps of conversational logic. We went from to screens to statues to universals to Transformers to a fan project, and man, you know what? I've talked about this before. Like, it's difficult to fill 20 stinking minutes every episode. I've actually thought about maybe doing some just music interludes while I give the talking a break, but I've been told that that might get a little boring just listening to music, so here I am ranting and raving about whatever pops into my brain. But this is why I answer questions from my Discord. That's right, I have a Discord. If you want to join that awesome community, the links are in the description down below, and I'm going to pick a couple of questions to answer on today's episode. So this one comes from Super Mario Plays. Hi, ChitChad. You know that old video game park you did make more expansions to that park? Why don't you upload the stuff from the old park to the Steam Workshop? Yeah, I've had a couple of people ask about uploading things to the Steam Workshop. That is definitely something I'm going to do in the near future. Hopefully, I'm gonna definitely separate some pieces out, because I know a lot of people would probably like to get their hands on some of the park projects that I've worked on. So that is the plan. Eventually, I just need to do it, and I need to stop being lazy. So I appreciate your question, Mario Plays. Thank you so much. The next question comes from Swoof. So Woof. And they ask, by any chance, have you added any speakers or stuff to the park? I think it'd be really fun in the walkthrough of the park to have Mario World overworld music as you go through the areas. Yeah, I totally agree. The only problem with that is Nintendo would probably flag the video immediately, as they do with almost all Nintendo content on my channel, which is totally within their right. Like, it's their intellectual property. If they want to claim the ads off of it, that's completely with their rights. I cannot argue it, but I try to avoid that as best as possible, especially when it comes to the Planet Coaster content. Would I like to add music to this park? Absolutely. If anything, I'll probably save it for the final looks video. I would like to reach out to some like fan artists or fan musicians of the Mario franchise and see if they have remixes that they would like to have in the video, so that might help me out a little bit. So yeah, we'll definitely have like sound effects for sure, and I do want to do some VO for the park, playing as different characters. I think that'd be a lot of fun just to add some more variety to the park. So yeah, that is a thought, and it's in the works. So thank you so much for your question. The last question for today's episode comes from Kieran. and they ask, hey, ChitChad, do you think you can build a Koopa ride next to the Yoshi's Hill ride? Actually, I did build a Koopa ride. It was a flat ride, and it was in the original video game park that I did way back at the beginning of this channel. I'll probably bring it back over because it was basically just a reskin or a recolor of the original flat ride. I might just add like a Koopa statue to it and call it a day. So yeah, we'll probably do that. So thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate it. So we are coming to the end of this journey, the end of this video, as we add Wario overlooking everyone, judging them, probably not so silently. If anything, I might add a view of him being like, hey, look at you! The nerd in the Mario hat, where my hat is better. You know, something funny like that. So I probably blew the microphone. I apologize for nothing. You heard me. I apologize for actually, I apologize for a lot of things. Anyways, it is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, the next Mario episode we do will be jumping back into
Luigi's mansion. Oh no, I'm not looking forward to this.
Yeah, but I am Luigi. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and hopefully you don't die. You haven't had a good track record so far, buddy.
I know, I'm so scared.
Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, I will chat with you on the next video.